Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Ding dong. Hello?
Everybody three count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't get here because I was cute, or because I came from some famous wrestling family, or because I sucked up to the right people. I got here because I am good. I earned this championship.
This is my show, and I'm sick of all of you calling me the coward. You're the cowards. I'm the one here day in and day out in that wrestling ring, beating people up. Thank you very much.
I don't steal opportunities. I am the opportunity.
Three ain't enough now. I need 5. Welcome in, Jim.
I'm an idiot.
Ryan.
I'm a sausage guy.
Matt.
Who gives a shit?
Tim.
Right on the cock.
And intern Mark.
Hi, boys.
I'm going to tell y'all with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. 3 Count Thursday, May the 6th, 2021. And we are still the podcast of the millennium. We're glad to be with you this week. Make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. That is our homepage where you can find all of our social media links, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/3countthursday. Our Collar and Elbow brand deal, store.collarandelbowbrand.com. Use promo code 3count for 10% off each and every order. Our home network, of course, is NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. Our secondary home is the Leap Sports and Music Network. Ryan, where can everybody find that?
The Leap Sports and Music Network could be found at leapsports.com.
Thank you. And we are glad you're with us. If you're with us live in the video, Scotty bringing the terrible takes already. Big time in the comments on multiple levels. Zach, yes, welcome into the show, Zach. He's the super fan who's been working through the entire back archive.
I'm so sorry. Why?
All the way back since 2016.
Oh, man.
Man, God bless you.
Jeez.
God bless you. But he is catching a show live, so welcome to him. If you're following along with us live, give us a like and a share. We would appreciate that as well. We hope you're having a good week. And Tim,
How you doing?
As I'm putting my hair up, this could be the last time. Tomorrow I go and I get my ears lowered.
What?
I know. They said it couldn't be done. They said that the Nazarite vow would ne'er be broken. But tomorrow, Fat Samson gets a haircut.
well, Godspeed, I guess. I don't know how to approach that.
Yeah,
Zach said he just finished the Roadblock review.
Oh God,
man, whew. Was
that just 2 hours of me bitching?
Probably. But what else is new?
That's fair. Some things never change.
Set your alarm. Set your clock to it.
So Ryan,
how you doing?
LEEIB Sports. I forgot to spell it in the opening. That's my bad.
Did.
I sure as heck did. Yeah, I was like, oh, what the hell am I doing? It's like,
You have like 3 bits on this show.
that's it.
one of
Right.
them.
Right. Spell one word, act like I don't know what the run sheet looks like. And what's the, oh, I don't have a Twitter. Don't follow me. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I'm a sausage guy.
Well, it's okay because he
Not the
forgot to
mouth.
spell. He forgot to spell Leave Sports, but when I usually go to him full screen to spell it, and instead I just put the I'm a sausage guy logo up. So
Oh, it's so fucking
we
funny.
go.
yeah, it is.
Zach says anything WWE that concerns traffic references infuriates Ryan.
Roadblock, fast
it's
lane.
just on the road to WrestleMania. You don't have to.
Beep, beep.
No.
Trains as well.
You know what? I actually dropped that one off of the board this week.
Which one?
The train sound, Braun Strowman's train sound.
You have a full board?
Yeah,
the board is full.
Full board. Fills my whole screen.
Good grief. Maybe get a bigger screen.
It's plenty big. At least that's what I've
how
heard.
it works.
Intern Mark.
How you doing?
Hi, boys. I'm doing real good.
Oh, hi,
Real
Mark.
good. May the 6th be with you. Oh, I missed something. Never mind.
You are. You're
I
like
need a cricket
You're
sounder.
like 2 days late, man.
May the 6th. You know what they do?
Sounder for moments like that.
They give you the Vader sign and say, "May the 6th be with you."
Matt.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I was at Roots Market on Tuesday.
Whoa. Are you serious, Matt?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Still on the
excited.
smoothie kick. I just wanted to mention Roots since Mark did not. And while I'm mentioning things, we'll still plug Felicia Rose. Still needs help. She started an OnlyFans this week, so more ways you can support her. So go check that out on her Facebook page. Otherwise, I'm doing well, ready for the weekend. Shane McMahon.
There we go.
The best in the world. Shane McMahon.
Jim,
Thank
how are
you,
you
Matt.
doing?
I don't think we've heard that in like 2 weeks.
I'll say it's actually been a little while.
Oh my God.
Since we heard it. So
Tim spunked on himself.
yeah, what
Spilled purple Kool-Aid on myself.
Charlie asked, "Where's my blood and guts t-shirt?" Well, it fell through the crash pad out back, and I wasn't able to recover it.
Boo.
It's a dangerous fall. I'm doing better today. It was a rough week, but I'm actually much better today. I'm ready for the weekend.
Ladies and
Did
gentlemen,
you save your
the
tears
weekend.
for another day?
What's that, Mark?
I was wondering if you saved your tears for another day, Jim. You're ready for the weekend.
Yes. But yeah, doing much better. Again, if you're with us live, give us a like and a share. We'd appreciate that. And let's excuse me. Let's get this thing going. Let's get this thing going. Of course, we are looking at May the 6th in pro wrestling history. 4 birthdays today. Brian Knobbs was born in 1964. Colt Cabana, 1980. Dakota Kai, 1988. And Piper Niven, 1991. 1984, the first annual Von Erich Memorial Parade of Champions was held by World Class Championship Wrestling at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. 32,123 fans attended the show, held in honor of the recently deceased David Von Erich, who died on February 10th, 1984 in Japan. Kerry Von Erich defeated Ric Flair in the main event to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship for the first and only time. In 2000, the first WWF Insurrection pay-per-view was held at the Earl's Court Exhibition Center in London, England, in front of 17,000 fans. The tagline of the show was, "London Bridge isn't the only thing falling down." The show featured 10 matches and was main evented by The Rock defeating Triple H and Shane McMahon in a triple threat match to retain the WWF Championship. In 2002, the infamous plane ride from hell, featuring a number of instances where WWE performers were out of hand, including an out of it Scott Hall, who ended up getting fired. Goldust taking the public address system, talking in the public address system to his ex-wife. Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar getting into a physical altercation. Ric Flair allegedly prancing naked in the aisles. Michael Hayes being given a haircut while he was sleeping, and of course, other antics. Lawsuits from flight attendants were filed, later settled. A number of talents were reprimanded, as were several officials in positions of power since they were on the flight as well. Also in 2002, WWE issued the following press release a day after word of their name change was broken. World Wrestling Federation Entertainment drops the F to emphasize the E for entertainment. New name and logo reflects international growth plans and increasing diversity of entertainment properties. To further capture a greater share of the global marketplace and to represent the growing diversity of its entertainment properties, World Wrestling Federation Entertainment today announced it is changing its name to World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated. The company's website, one of the most popular in the world, will now be found at WWE.com. A new logo reflecting the name change will be introduced tonight on WWE's top-rated television show, Raw, on TNN at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. 2008, WWE announced that WrestleMania 24, featuring Ric Flair's retirement match against Shawn Michaels, pulled in 1,058,000 buys for the company, bringing in $23.8 million in revenue with an average North American price of $54.95. And then finally, in 2018, WWE Backlash takes place in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, in front of 14,724 fans. The tagline for the show was Raw and SmackDown together for the price of one. The show featured one pre-show match, 8 main card matches, and Roman Reigns defeated Samoa Joe in the main event. Those are the events that happened May the 6th in pro wrestling history. So let's before we get to the normally one of the other weekly segments, there was obviously an event last night, TNT, that I want to make sure that we get to and give it its time.
Basketball?
No. Wrong day of the week, wrong show hosted by me. But the Blood and Guts match was on Dynamite last night. Charlie getting his second shot on Saturday. Congratulations. Charlie,
sometimes
Scotty.
It takes 2, sometimes it takes 3 shots. You'll get it eventually.
And boy, wouldn't AEW like a second shot at Blood and Guts.
Sure. Well, I don't think, not necessarily the match, just the ending. Let's just rethink the ending. Or rethink how the ending was shot. But anyway, and yes, Scotty, WWE did have a shirt that said "Get the F out."
Jim was licking his chops, wetting his shit all over this. First thing talking about AEW. That's
bumped up to the first hour. Unreal.
I mean,
right after on this day, before Wrestler of the Week.
Right? Let's get right at it.
Let's get the fucking shovels out.
I mean, does anybody want to start giving their thoughts with Blood and Guts?
I think you should.
I also think you should.
You're already full screen, buddy. Go ahead.
The match itself, I didn't. I mean, the whole show, I didn't think was bad, but it once again, it's a heavily promoted event by AEW that the ending was a fucking dud. It was a fucking dud, and it's something as simple as production. Like, don't show the close up of, cardboard steel plating. Like, I don't expect Chris Jericho to fall onto concrete. Just don't. I don't need to see how the hot dog's made. Like, I know that it's going to be a safe bump. It should be a safe bump. We saw what happened to Matt Hardy when it's not a safe bump. But like, just produce it better. That's my biggest gripe with Blood and Guts last night, and it's just, there's a few other issues. I mean, like Charlie says, the commercial breaks. To me, I think this match should have been on a pay-per-view. I don't necessarily think it should have been a weekly TV show match. I don't think it should have been the first match between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. But those things aside, the biggest problem I have with it is the way that the ending was shot, or the way that it was presented to us. Like, you have tons of cameras. We saw, because we saw a bunch of WWE camera cuts too. But what don't show me the shot of the cardboard breaking apart, and then don't show me the shot of Chris Jericho with his eyes open talking to Sammy Guevara after he takes that fall. It just like it's another one of those situations where, and I mean, again, WWE gets production things wrong. They missed Edge's return spear, for Christ's sake. So this isn't just an indictment on AEW, but man, this is two big matches in a row, big moments in a row at the end of a show that have completely fallen flat, and I think have taken away from the match, the spectacle itself.
Tony Khan came out with a statement today. I don't know if you saw this, Jim, or not, about the crash pad sort of thing, and he said, "Huh?
Of course he did."
Yeah, he said if Kenny Omega did a better job building the crash pad, you would have never known. It was cardboard and stuff. No, but I think we should be out of the honeymoon phase with AEW, that people should be able to, and rightfully so in this case, call out a bad spot. And not necessarily the spot itself. I think everybody, I said it, I tweeted it last night. If you have ever watched professional wrestling, you knew Chris Jericho was falling off the side of that cell. Sure. You knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen whether or not they gave up the match, which is a dumb fucking ending anyway, just to quit, to save your, it's a bad ending. The match was fantastic. I loved the violence of it. The blood was absolutely needed. I didn't see any guts, but
yeah, I didn't see guts either, but
that's another story for another day. But you touched on it, Jim. There's plenty of cameras because they were cutting like crazy. We called the WWE out on it. We're going to call AEW out on it as a podcast. I think we should stop with that bullshit. The time where they should have probably cut the camera, when you're looking up at Jericho and he's falling down and the camera falls and sees like particle board with just diamond plate stickers on top. Kobe. Just fucking give me the shot of him falling. It's probably more dramatic. Think of the Lion King.
Or keep it at the wide shot when you see.
That's fine. Absolutely.
From where MJF throws him.
The moment of impact in a padded area, you just don't need to have it. It happened in the WWE with, I believe, Shane McMahon when he came through the side of the table. It just looks bad. Just don't do it. Don't show me the moment of impact. Give me the shot from the Lion King where Scar lets whatever his name and fall. That's what I want to see.
I went back today because I was like, how was the Shane fall in that Hell in a Cell? How was that shot? On the initial shot, it was a wide shot. So you saw him hit the table. You didn't really see the crash pad. So that was good. But then the problem was, after the fact, they showed you the 100 replays and you see like 4 or 5 of them where there's this blatant pad that blows out. Right.
Just don't need to have that.
I'm like, maybe don't show those. Like,
nope, don't need to have it.
Yeah.
And again, I don't expect Jericho to kill himself.
No, which was like such a weird. I thought that was such a weird, like, leap that people were making. They're like, well, what do you expect him to do? Die? No. We're not asking him to die. I mean, well, some people might, depending on how you.
I saw those tweets. Matt Hardy spot bad. This spot bad. AEW can't win. They actually can.
Right. Just
don't show the moment of impact that fucking close. That's all you had to do.
Don't drop a guy head first on concrete. But don't show us, particle board and crash pads. It's there's an in between there that I feel like you need to find. Tim, Matt, Mark.
Ryan, wasn't the particle board and crash pads your abandoned high school's name?
So dumb. I'm not.
I might be thinking of someone else.
Do you want to get this back on the rails, Matt, or should I?
I mean, the main thing I will say, big draw for AEW last night. And to steal a line from my good friend Jim, you're all talking about it. It's on the tip of everyone's tongue. That's kind of what AEW really needs at this point, because they are, like Ryan said, it's the honeymoon period's over. So they need people to talk about them. They need people to watch them. So, sometimes, pulling back the curtain a little bit is going to get people talking more than just a 5-star match will, unfortunately. Take it, the whole Bobby Lashley storyline with Lana was Bobby! But it brought a ton of eyes onto the product. This is probably going to bring a ton of eyes onto the product again next week, in my opinion. I think that they did enough with having a good match and then having that weird finish again, similar to the fireworks bonanza we were supposed to get. It got people talking, and it should have been in a negative way, but I think it enhanced people's interest next week to see what are they going to do.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean, I can't deny that people are talking about it. So, mission successful there. Absolutely.
Over 1 million viewers too. I believe they won the night. So it's a good thing for AEW. Probably not what they had in mind, but I think that, like the saying is, any press is good press. They're going to take it and run with it. So they can possibly swing this in their favor.
And they to their credit, they usually do a pretty good job when they come off of something that doesn't have the best ending, doesn't have the best result, doesn't come across the way they want it to. They have done a pretty good job the next time out to produce something pretty well. How many times can you get away with that? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, they won the night. If you're talking pure numbers, they were up from last week. Now, last week was, of course, the presidential address, which drew tons of eyes. So that definitely played into that. But
fake news.
It was up 18%, and the first time that it actually won the demo. So
yeah. So good for them.
Much like WWE, I think AEW has shown that they have a very good damage control crew. So the fact that they take this head on, they attack it pretty quickly. We'll see what they do with it next week, but I think they have a good track record of taking these lackluster finishes, taking the fans' disappointment, and just roping them in even more, like well, wait till you see what we do next kind of thing. Do they want to get to the point where people are kind of watching just to see like how dumb or how bad it is? No, but I think that they're slowly rectifying their mistakes as they go through.
I'd agree with that. Tim, thoughts?
So, as the resident WCW kid, I'm completely enthralled with everything WarGames. So,
WarGames!
To me,
WarGames! WarGames! WarGames!
Sorry, Mr. Regal, I didn't know that you were good.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
God, can you warn somebody next time before William Regal just pops off?
No.
Say it again, see what happens, Tim.
So I'm a big Blood and Guts fan. Blood and Guts! Blood and Guts! Blood and Guts! My problem with the show, or the event, the match, the movie, Blood and Guts, is the same song and dance we've had with AEW since their first event. It always seems like there's something production related that takes away from the good work that is done by those involved. To me, this shouldn't have been on television. All of the commercial breaks were backloaded into the second half of Blood and Guts.
Mm-hmm.
They went to commercial 3 times between Wardlow entering the match. He was the 7th of 10.
Who?
And the end. Yeah, I know. The big guy with hair on the white squad. The white team, big hair guy.
Big guy. Big.
He was 7.
Kind of looked like fake Diesel a little bit.
Wardlow wishes that he would be in the same breath as Kevin Nash.
That's true. Wardlow wishes he would be in the conversation with fake Diesel.
That's still Kane.
I know.
He wishes he was in the same conversation as fake Razor Ramon.
Oof.
Oh, okay.
Yikes.
That's still Rick Bogner.
And my apologies to Rick Bogner.
God rest his soul.
I know. Old Big Sky. Anyway, the match itself was...
You hit him with the O'Reilly?
I hit that when he said when he said about fake Razor, and it was a delay.
Mark's like, God rest his soul. Jim's like,
yeah.
Yes.
That was not intended to be.
The family of Rick Bogner is pissed.
Or happy that somebody actually said ow at his death. Either way. I'm sorry, that was a little gray, a little blue. I'm sorry. My problem is the production. How did Jericho and MJF get on top of the cage? I missed it because it happened during picture-in-picture.
Well, you got to watch that picture-in-picture.
Well, I'm sorry that it's about the size of a Tic Tac on my phone, Jim. Okay, like... it's the little guy climbing the little guy up the little thing. No.
I think MJF went up there to be safe, is what the story was told from commentary when we came back.
Tully opened the door.
Titty Blanchard opened the door. MJF got out. Jericho followed him, and they climbed up the thing. Cool. I'd like to have seen that. That seems like a really cool spot.
Right, because here's the thing. If there's people who took that moment to not watch in picture and went to the bathroom or whatever to not miss the end of the match, then they come back. Why the hell is MJ? How is he on the roof of the cage?
Isn't that on you though? They've given you picture in picture.
It's
if
on
you choose to walk away from that, that's on you.
But you're gonna do a pivotal spot during the commercial.
Right. Don't do it during the commercial.
You
I
could
just
cut
don't see
to
climbing that pivotal. It's just climbing.
It's not the climbing.
I know you would probably find it thrilling. Maybe they'll slip and fall on their way up and really maim themselves.
You could do the climb and everything during the commercial.
Do we have a Miley Cyrus clip about the climb? Tim seems to really like the climb.
No, it's the escape spot. It's how you got out. They made this big fucking deal about how nobody could get out. And they just get out and nobody sees it? No. Imagine if Kane debuts during Hell in a Cell and they show Kane and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in the ring and Kane rips the door off, but nobody saw that.
Or if it's on picture in picture.
You'd be able to see it still.
Right, but it's still during
and then commentary would be like, my God, well, they wouldn't have done it because it was like on a fucking pay-per-view. They're like, this show should have been.
Right, but also what hinders it
they wouldn't have told us because Vince would have still been saying, it's got to be Kane, it's got to be Kane.
So Zach's got a good question. Was escaping the cage an automatic loss in WarGames? It is in the WWF version because there's
WarGames.
Tim, you said it.
Well, between William Regal and the four of you fucks talking over me trying to make points, I'm never going to get shit said on this podcast.
This is why Jim put it to the front of the show.
I'll wait.
Right. No, you're good now.
Okay, you sure?
I think.
I haven't said shit this whole time.
My apologies. Okay.
Mark's literally only made a shitty comment about a band.
I know. He's
Yeah, I'm
one
sorry,
side
kid.
of this one side of the podcast is innocent.
Ryan's band was
it's-
pretty good.
Escaping the cage is illegal in the WWE version of Blood and Guts. And because I can't say Games War anymore.
I wish I had a way to reverse that.
I wish you didn't. And so because it was on television, the pacing was off too. There was a lot of stalling, a lot of like figuring out like when to go, what to do, how to do it. And like there was 3 minutes of airtime after Jericho takes flight into his latest shipment of My Pillows.
Oh.
You want to know how I knew there was 3 minutes?
Did you
Because
time it?
in the production of the show, you hear the timer go 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I totally missed that.
Oh, I listen to everything. Because see, here's the thing: when I watch TV or when I watch wrestling lately, I watch it here in the office. So I have headphones, so it's piped right in. So every little small thing that's said, I hear it.
There was a bunch of tweets that the boys were calling the spots relatively loud. Did you hear that, Tim?
No, because I was invested in like. Well, also
In the match itself.
there were no cameras inside of the Blood and Guts cage. The only cameras that existed were the corner post cameras, and I think there might have been like 2 people on the far sides.
I was gonna say because I thought there was at least one camera that was inside the cage.
I
there
know
had
that
to
it
have been
was
because they
very
were running
minimal.
them back and oh, that might have been the corner cam. I don't know. I'd have to
Yeah.
look at the establishing shot that they probably never gave us.
They did not. But the entire like visual of the finish really leaves me flat, and it's just unfortunate that it's like it's still production woes over and over again with this stuff. And like WWE misses some things, but they've missed some things over 40 years of over 40 years of doing this on television. And AEW has had the numbers skewed, more misses in a shorter time frame. Like Edge missing Edge's debut spear is a lot more forgiving in a Royal Rumble than watching Chris Jericho go through diamond-plated wood onto a literal pile, like a literal beanbag chair.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that. It's
One
still-
exposes bad production. The other actually exposes the spot.
The magic.
Really, it does.
Sure.
And when you compare it to the exploding ring, and we talked about, I think Matt mentioned that they have a cleanup crew. Jericho, to me, this spot writes Jericho off of television. Jericho's gone. Jericho's about to do Fozzy stuff. He's about to spread a whole lot of rock and roll music to a whole lot of people during COVID times. I'm
I'll
ready.
say he's gonna spread something, but I don't think it's rock and roll.
A lot of rock and roll. Ooh, rock and roll to the devil. So, of the people still left in the angle, who is going to be the Eddie Kingston and John Moxley who could talk their way out of a bad situation and make it believable?
One of the two, Santana or Ortiz, the one that got stuck between the ring and the cell.
Okay, cool.
That guy. That
Sure.
one did. He would be the one.
I mean, it's not going to be Jake Hager.
You sure about that, Jim?
It's got to be Sammy Guevara, right? Guevara's the guy that threw in the towel, essentially. It was very
Right,
Uso of him.
He's the surrenderer.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Is that even a way to lose? Can you actually lose?
It's submit or surrender. Yes.
Right,
It is
which
surrender,
when,
okay.
when they said that at first, I was like, "Isn't that the same thing?"
No.
but then and then I thought about it. I was like, no, I guess not. You could just
So pinfall was not an option.
No. And
Correct.
that is their traditional Games War rules.
Right. Okay.
Yes. You are to either give up or somebody gives up for you.
No, Jim, I'm gonna say Games War a lot here talking to Tim for the next moment. So just bear with me. I'll let you hit your sounder at the end.
Okay.
As a WCW guy,
Mm-hmm.
were you at all put off that last night's match was blood and guts, but kept referring to like Tully in the very first ever blood and guts match? Calling it like Dusty's creation. This is Dusty's creation, when in fact Dusty's creation really was War Games. They just can't say that on their program.
War Games.
You see how annoying it is when you're in the middle of your thought and then just
War Games. I actually
William
don't mind
Regal
it. It's fine.
just
War Games.
You can just talk over him. Do people hear me? I don't know, but I won't stop talking.
And you sound like William Regal.
When he says War Games, that I sounded what I sound like, I suppose.
War Games.
How do I suppose? War Games. How do I know?
This
So
is
it's
my
like,
this
as
is
a
now my
WCW
least favorite sound
guy,
bite. Yeah.
that like bother you that they kept calling Dusty's creation, the old WCW WG blood and guts, and referring to it as like a continuation of Dusty?
The structure was Dusty's.
The structure of like the idea of two rings.
What they do for Blood and Guts is Dusty's creation. Two rings surrounded by a cage with a top on it, with the rules being submit or surrender. The match can't end until everybody's in the ring, and then it's the match beyond. Instead of you can't, but they don't even have the rights to the match beyond. So
what did they call it?
All Out Assault.
The All Out Assault.
Oh.
And so the names are WWE property, but the idea, like the concept they had, was Dusty's, but it's kind of weird. It would be as if the XFL had their big game and they referred to the first ever big game where the Green Bay Packers won.
Well, like if somebody
It's still
on like
football,
coaching
it's
staff,
still this, but we're talking about the very first Super Bowl and not the very first big game, but it's the same thing, kind of.
right? Like, but I think from a commentary standpoint, like if somebody who had played in the first Super Bowl was on the coaching staff or front office staff of one of the XFL teams in a championship, and they're like, so and so was in the first XFL championship. No, he wasn't. He was like, and I get it's kind of hard to compare the two because like everybody knows the Super Bowl. The XFL is not afraid to necessarily mention, so and so was in the first Super Bowl. Like I get, AEW doesn't want to say that Tully was in the first WG match, so. But I don't like them saying that, he was in the first Blood and Guts. They could just say something like he's had history in this type of match. I think you avoid like the silly.
Yeah.
Right.
We know he wasn't in Blood and Guts. Just
what an awful name, Blood and Guts. I think we said this last year too before they postponed it for a year. But
awful shirt.
But we also didn't even know what Blood and Guts was going to be.
I think we all assumed it was WG, didn't we?
I didn't.
I don't think that they got to the point where they announced what Blood and Guts was.
They didn't announce the rules, I don't think, until yesterday. If I'm correct.
That's a good build.
Which is fine. Like, I'm glad, like, every wrestling promotion has their own version of something WWE does. Like, It's not...
Sure, and I'm not even saying the WWE is like the first to do WG because clearly they're not.
No.
George Carlin had a great bit comparing like football and baseball, And I feel like that's the difference between like War Games or Blood and Guts. Like there's just a difference.
War Games! War Games! War Games!
Great radio. People love coming to 3 Count Thursday to hear William Regal say the same word 12, 15, 18 times.
War Games.
War Games! War Games! War Games! War Games!
I like the way he used to say Umaga too.
Umanga.
Umanga.
I don't have that on the board.
Umanga.
He that hard U.
Umanga.
Another like, and like it's one of those things, like if you listen to like older guys from the business talk about some of the things that happen now that they find issue in, it's like if you're gonna have a big spot, with something, if your finish of your main event is a variation of a power bomb, don't have somebody win with the power bomb during the second match, or don't have somebody use a power bomb and have it be kicked out in the second match. So as I'm thinking about that, and earlier in the night, we saw Darby Allin get thrown down concrete stairs. I don't know the height of that staircase compared to the top of that cage, but like he's just yucked down concrete stairs. He weighs all of 78 pounds, whatever. Like that was a nasty bump. And at the end of the night, you have Jericho fall through, plywood and mypillow.com. Like maybe save Darby being thrown down concrete stairs for next week. Like it just, the two falls, like Darby took the worst fall of the night. And, he was hurt, but he was like up and like conversing with the medical team. Jericho's laying there when you didn't, after he closed his eyes again. Jericho's laying there dead. It's.
Didn't Michael Nakazawa die in the second match as well, and then was totally fine hoisting around all the championships for Kenny Omega an hour later?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm
think... shocked they didn't have another cage match last night. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
That's what's shocking.
I think what the problem is that Jericho's bump is huge. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to discredit it.
No.
It's just the production of it. Like, the way it's shot, MJF is standing tall on top of the cage. That's a babyface-ish thing. Like, he's standing there celebrating. He's a babyface now. He's just standing there, taking pride. But if it was timed out right, and the last thing you hear him say is, thank you, and you cut, but because you had 3 minutes of television time after the fact because you couldn't pace right, like, I get it. It's tough. And like, I'm sitting here and I'm armchair quarterbacking because like,
but it shouldn't be tough.
But if you're, but also if
like,
you're on,
you are on television, you are on TNT. You have been doing this for a year, not that match, but you've been doing it. Get yourself a fucking director that knows how to direct a show. Then that's simple.
But also, if you're like, if this was on pay-per-view, like it probably should have been, you can always go dark on pay-per-view. But like, if you're running till 11 p.m., you can cut to black at 10:52 if you come up 8 minutes short.
I mean, but what else you could do though, for those 3 minutes, is if your production team is worth a doggone, you could have highlights of Blood and Guts, and you could have the voice of wrestling, Jim Ross, and the voice of Turner Sport, or the voice of WCW, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur lay out what happened and sign off, and not see Dean Malenko talking to Chris Jericho because they're best friends. Pepper is ready to get out of here.
Puppy dog.
Pepper is like, I hear somebody outside. It's a pat on the door.
This bothered me last night, and it's the first time it really's bothered me. I'm over having like a gimmicked commentator wear a mask. And I know it's Excalibur's thing, but I don't know. Bothers me anymore.
Why?
I don't know. And I get like Jerry the King Lawler didn't drop the King gimmick when he moved to commentary. I don't know. It just bothers me.
I mean,
I just feel like it shouldn't be. I feel like commentary shouldn't be gimmicked. Backstage announcers shouldn't be gimmicked. Your ring announcer shouldn't be gimmicked. Referees shouldn't be gimmicked. I'm just saying.
At the same time, though, like it's tough to just drop a gimmick out of nowhere.
It's just take the mask off. It's literally all it is. And then that is Excalibur for the next few weeks. And then it's like, yep, that's Excalibur. Keep the name. I don't give a shit. Just take the silly mask off.
All over that if they did.
Absolutely would not. Rey Mysterio took his mask off.
Rey Mysterio lost a mask match.
And he also got his eye poked out, but that's a whole different story.
He had surgery, Jim.
He did. I don't know. I mean, the King's been the King, and
I get that. I understand that.
And like King and Michael Cole had like heel Michael Cole and the King until the King almost died, and then Michael Cole couldn't be a heel anymore, and you have Corey Graves bickering with Byron, and so like
I get that heels and faces. I'm not saying it like that. There's obviously a heel commentary and a face commentary, always has been, but just the mask. For some reason, man, last night I was like, nope, done with that shit.
Well,
I don't know why.
It bothered me before. I actually it doesn't. I guess I'm just used to it now.
I get it. Like PW, I get it. I really do. I'm over it for whatever reason. I just don't like it anymore.
Right.
Take off that
If
silly ass mask.
You think about it, we all wear masks.
Shut the fuck up, Mark. Sorry I yelled at you, but I'm not.
But like, I don't see what the big deal is, and like why. What I'm just curious. Is like
I don't know what it was last night. It just was. I'm like, nope, that's silly.
For like zero reason though. You're saying
It is. It's literally zero reason.
Right.
Tonight it just hit me.
Which is why I'm just gonna discredit it as just you being a grumpy pants.
That's fine, and it might be just Ryan was a grumpy pants last night.
But if we're gonna talk about commentary though,
And
like,
WarGames was great.
Don't.
WarGames.
I can't abandon the gimmick now. Like we're committed to this for the night.
We're not.
Well, you don't hit the Shane McMahon button every time somebody says Shane McMahon.
No,
you
he
just
hits the other button.
Much longer though. I mean, that's
He
considerably.
usually hits the
longer.
music. I'm pretty disappointed I don't hear that now.
I
But
do
whatever.
usually hit the music. But if we're gonna talk like
So
commentary,
say it, but don't fucking hit it, Jim. Right. Thank you.
you're welcome. But like, if we're gonna talk about commentary and issues with commentary, how did we get Jim Ross to go from like, oh my God, he's broken in half to this?
Protect Chris Jericho. Wait, no, come on.
Hey, he's a sick little bastard. I'm telling you.
He's up
Oh, my God! My God, what are we seeing?
Like,
Get the doctor there quick as you can.
Chris Jericho
it just, I don't know. I didn't think commentary handled the moment well.
I
Like,
love that
what
they
do
all just marked at the same moment. That's always great audio.
Yeah, which is, I mean, an issue with their commentary.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the broken in half quote was like one of the first times we've seen that.
Sure, but like,
He
I don't
probably
know.
would have been better served being like, "Oh my goodness, what a maneuver!"
That's so
What a
true.
maneuver.
He bealed him.
But like, and maybe it's for me, it's just JR a commentary just is nowhere close to what JR used to be.
No, he definitely isn't. But I don't think you can compare those two moments. But he certainly has been a lot more watered down in AEW.
And I get it. Much older, tragedies in his life, all of that. Like, it just, I hate saying it because I do love JR and what he's been to wrestling and wrestling commentary, but like, I do feel like he would be better served as like, you know, the interview segment host. like not backstage interview, but when they do let like special taped interview with FTR or whatever when they're coming in. I just feel like that role's better for him at this point.
Part of me though feels like the reason why Jim Ross doesn't deliver on these spots like he should is because he doesn't have the personal connection with the people that it's happening to like he did then. Like Austin was his guy. Everything that Stone Cold Steve Austin did meant more to Jim Ross. Jim Ross was also the guy at talent relations. He was responsible for bringing Mankind into the WWE. So he knows Mankind is Mrs. Foley's baby boy. Like, knows him. And so while he does know Jericho, like,
and Jake Hager,
he doesn't know MJF that well. He knew 2 out of 10 people, really, because Sean Spears was after his time. Well, the height of Sean Spears was after his time, and the FTR dudes were after him.
Sure.
So it's like, I get that like the organic nature of it is off, but yeah. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
I think he's been better. At least he's not actively shitting on stuff.
That's true.
There's no tag rules. Nobody holds onto the tag rope. Nobody can listen to the refs count, undermining the refs' authority.
He's not as much get off my lawn guy as he was early in AEW.
I think part of that is Conrad Thompson. I think there's been conversations with him and Connie, just like Connie's like, now Jim, just breathe. If you need to go into commentary after a 1.5 mules, go for it.
That's true. Just get him on the sauce a little bit.
And he just breaks out. He
toss it
underneath the table. He just pulls out a jar of Main Event mustard, and he just. We're good.
Taking shots of it.
It's a little under the gum.
Just doing shooters. One nostril's Main Event mustard. The other side is barbecue sauce.
I literally the breath I took immediately after that was just hot. Like it just felt like
but you know, again, the match, the night I didn't think was bad. I didn't think the match was bad, but man, again, it's what's the last taste in your mouth? What's the last moment?
Mustard.
And it's the mustard. And it was a dud. Like it I saw people saying this was the best like double ring cage match we've ever seen. I'm like, it wasn't even the best one in the last motherfucking year, man. Like, I get it. Like AEW is the cool new toy, but like it's okay to not mark over it all the time.
Let's also interject here and see if people are going to be bitching about Raw and SmackDown featuring women, and you give me a 3-minute Britt Baker match over, I don't know, Bret Hart's niece or somebody, Julia Hart. Don't shit on the E for not featuring women right when you have a 2-hour program and you give me a 3-minute squash match. Nope, not going to happen.
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever talked up AEW's women's card.
I don't think so either. I'm just calling shit out. Call it.
Yeah. I mean, they have been
too.
doing better overall. I'll give them that.
This show's always easy on AEW and on the E.
We're gonna let them slide.
But I don't think WWE did a great job on their 3-hour show on Monday either.
They sure didn't.
You know, maybe it's just a time for everybody to reevaluate that position on the card completely.
Let's also reevaluate those chair shots to the head, right?
Ooh.
Don't need them.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life.
I just don't.
I really don't.
I welcomed it back.
I don't mind it.
I mean, I get it.
I don't mind it.
It's up to individual people if they want to take them.
Right.
I'm not a fan of
Benoit didn't mind it either.
Benoit's wasn't necessarily chair shots to the head. It was him using his head as a weapon for 20 years coming off the top rope.
That was probably it.
Yeah, I mean, a chair shot to the head, like in a spot, is going to mean a lot. I don't want to see it constantly every week, but there's ways around, like that. I think they can pull off chair shots these days.
And there was two, right? And neither of them were unprotected.
I feel like there was more than two.
Sammy took one and he got his hands up. I think 10 took one.
In the second ring?
10 took one. Sorry, not 10.
Right before he was taking apart the ring? Or right after?
Yeah, but I think that one was unprotected. Sean Spears took one unprotected.
Maybe that knocks some sense into him.
But like, I think it's up to the guy.
I just don't need to see him
the
anymore.
guy taking it. Like, obviously, Tony Khan's like, I'd rather you not do that. But
you think he's saying that?
No.
Yeah,
okay. I don't think he's saying that either.
Maybe like don't do that, you.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, don't do that. Oh, I just dropped, $500. My bad.
Oh, if it's $500, I'll take a fucking shot in the head.
Ryan, you take a shot in the mouth for less.
I'll take a shot in the mouth. If it's a $500 bonus, swing away.
Right, and
concuss the hell out of me. I don't even give a shit then.
I don't know if that's the case or not, but like,
me and Sean Morley will be sitting on a couch talking about weed for the rest of my life. I'd be fine with it. I don't care.
I don't think he's discouraging it. I'll say that. I don't think Tony's discouraging it at all.
Well, that was fun WarGames talk, boys.
In WarGames!
There it is.
WarGames! WarGames! WarGames!
The pause made me want it more.
That's good. All right, let's pause here. Let's hear from our sponsors. We come back. We have plenty more to go over, including our wrestler of the week standing. So stick with us. 3 Count Thursday live.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook, NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Leeb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at leebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Welcome back, 3 Count Thursday. We are live. Make sure you give us a like and a share on the live video if you're with us live. If not, make sure you give a rate and review on all podcast platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel And just go to 3countthursday.com so you can find our merchandise, social media links, everything else 3count related. And make sure you tell everybody about the show. Get more people in here each and every week. We'd appreciate that as well. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/3countthursday. So normally we get to this right after the on this day segment, but obviously the blood and guts was a bit more topical this week. So let's get to our wrestler of the year standings for the week.
Since John Moxley, Cesaro, way before Gargano, there was Savage and Roddy, and Saturdays on NBC. These five guys on Facebook are gonna take the arm of 3Count Thursday, praising you, the wrestler on the week.
Alrighty, week number 4 of our standings, and if you want to keep up to date and look back on the year as we go through it, there is a section for this on 3countthursday.com. So make sure you check that out as well. Anybody want to kick us off with their nominations this week?
Jim, did you get really quiet, or is it me?
You got really quiet.
God damn it! Why does it keep doing that?
Why?
All right, we're back. We're good. I gotta.
You got to say it all over again, Jim.
Does anybody want to kick us off with their nominations for the week?
I
thought
will.
it was.
Matt, go ahead.
Matthew.
So in my number 1 spot, I had Roman Reigns. Number 2, with his TV title win, was Tony Deppen. Big win for him in Ring of Honor. And number 3, more titles. Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell rounded out my 3rd. So in retrospect, I think I would have switched 2 and 3, but it's too late for that. I don't want to upset Tim, so we'll leave it where it was.
That's smart. We've all seen what happens when you change the standings as we're live. Good. That's a good 3 there. Anybody else want to go next?
Yeah, mine are very similar to Matthew's. Mine were set early in the week. No effect from AEW or NXT or Raw. My number 1 wrestler of the week also was Roman Reigns in a very punishing, very enjoyable main event to SmackDown. My number 2 was also Tony Deppen and his new Ring of Honor championship. He is the new TV champion. Big congratulations to the Tony Deppen. And my 3rd is an indie wrestler, the shooter, Killian McMurphy, who won this weekend at the ECWA Super 8 tournament. If you're not a fan or familiar necessarily with ECWA, do take a look. A lot of big names have wrestled in the ECWA tournament. Some winners previously, Davey Richards, Petey Williams, Christopher Daniels, Paul London, Tommaso Ciampa.
And that's just the men's one. The women's has some
Tomato chips.
That's all I was waiting for. Xavier Woods, Jerry Lynn. So lots of names had gone through, lots of popular, famous winners. So congratulations, Killian McMurphy. Go ahead, Matthew.
I mean, I already went. I was just saying that the women's Super 8 also has some big names as well.
Absolutely does.
ECWA does a fantastic job with that tournament.
Sure do. Tim or Mark, do you guys want to go next? You want me to go next?
I'll go ahead and go.
Oh, God bless.
Because I remembered what I put down, I think. So number 1 for me was indie wrestling and Candice, the NXT Tag Team Champions. Number 2 was Roman Reigns. Number 3 was that man who built this city on rock and roll, Tony Deppen.
Those were actually the 3. So
I got it. They were in order.
I'm actually impressed.
Thank you. I'm doing my best. I don't want to upset Tim. The last thing I want to do is make Tim upset.
All I had to do is raise my voice once.
The last thing I want to do is upset you. I'm sorry
Tim,
if I upset you.
you want to go next, Tim?
Sure. My top three very similar to everyone else's top three. Leading it off, the big dog, the head of the table, the end all be all, Roman Reigns, the ooh man. Sending Daniel Bryan up out of SmackDown and possibly WWE. At number 2, I've got Candice in Indie Wrestling. I like that. Winning the NXT Women's Tag Team titles from Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Number 3, in his upset victory over Hot Sauce Tracy Williams in Ring of Honor, Tony Deppen winning the ROH television title. Rounds out my top 3. Killian McMurphy, right there is an honorable mention. I do want to mention that, as well as Dominic Guarini. He's a name that you guys may not have heard of. He wrestles in MLW, but also he had a fantastic weekend this weekend wrestling for AIW. Wrestled Lee Moriarty and Eddie Kingston in back-to-back nights in 2 match of the year quality bouts. So credit where credit is due. But my top 3, Roman Reigns, Candice and Indy, and then Tony Deppen.
Yeah, this week I feel like was a fairly easy one. Mine pretty much are the same. My number 3, Tony Deppen. Congratulations to him. Number 2, Candice and Indy. My number 1, he's the head of the table. Great main event on SmackDown, Roman Reigns. My honorable mention would be everybody's favorite, who is returning to the WWE, of course, Eva Marie. So that's she was right there, but didn't quite crack the top 3 this week.
Mark, what was your honorable mention?
I had, if I could pick a 4th one, it would have been Jordan Grace's Instagram. Is my honorable mention. Her IG. She's been up at the gym working on her fitness. She's fergalicious.
That one's on you, Ryan. Tim, you want to update us with the where we're at for the year?
I sure will. So for this week, we have literally only 4 people who were nominated. So all 4 people that were nominated get all points for Wrestler of the Week. So number 4, Killian McMurphy getting his 1 point into the roundabout. Tony Deppen getting 3rd place honors. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell with 2nd place honors. And then the head of the table, the ooh man, Roman Reigns, is week 4's Wrestler of the Week. First time winning. But his victory here means that he is now at sole control of the number 1 spot in Wrestler of the Year with 17 points. If you want to,
sole control sounds like something AEW would call something when they can't say what it's actually called.
Yes, sole control.
Sole control.
If you want a breakdown of our breakdown of points, it's all available on 3countthursday.com. There's a link at the top that breaks down how you earn points for the week and for the year. But with a 1st place and a 2nd place, Roman has 17 points. There is a tie for 2nd place with the other 1st place vote getters in the standings with Kenny Omega, Bianca Belair, and Cool Cow.
O'Reilly.
And then rounding out the top 5 is Hikaru Shida, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, Raul the Line Mendoza, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell, all with 7 points for their 2nd place victories and honors. But everyone's point totals move forward. If you were a person in the Wrestler of the Week, you earned points towards Wrestler of the Year. 1st place with 10, 7, 4, and then 1 point for the 4th honorable mention. So a great week all around for the Wrestler of the Week standings. Can't wait to see what we have for the next 48 weeks.
Absolutely.
We're almost there, boys.
Moxley, Cesaro, way before Gargano, there was Savage and Roddy, and Saturdays on NBC. These 5 guys on Facebook are gonna take a hard look. 3 Count Thursday brings to you the wrestler on the week.
3 count question of the week.
All right, we obviously we go one right into another. This one I think came to us via Ryan from the WWE on Fox page, I believe, and it is, what is the single greatest quote in WWE history? Anybody want to kick us off with their thoughts on the greatest quote in WWE history?
Jim, I think you should go first.
You think I should go?
We all know what it's going to be.
Yep.
Gonna be Matthew.
Because I'm the best.
His best was. Best ever will be.
Wow. Jesus. Actually, it is not that. Thank you very much. Your assumptions, although possibly
It doesn't matter what your top quote is ever. That is the best one. That's the one that should win this. The Rock, period.
Wow.
So
anybody else?
The line,
What
it
about,
doesn't matter what you think is the best quote.
That is the best quote ever, yes.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. ...
Okay.
Because
What
whatever
about,
your answer is, Tim, it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter.
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
Are you telling Tim to suck it?
if we're playing greatest catchphrase in WWE history, maybe. But as far as quotes go, there's a couple that kind of stick out to me as great. I'm not going to answer yet because you're going to be an asshole and tell me it doesn't matter.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
Tim, go ahead.
So the most important quote in the history of WWE is that the one time when I've seen
WarGames.
WarGames.
You rotten pieces, nothing. I'm gonna go with my gut and what I was gonna say first. It's me, Austin. It was me all along.
Okay.
When Vince McMahon announces himself as the higher power.
All right. Matt or Mark, you guys want to go? You want me to go?
No, this is the most important quote. Was this the 3 count question of the week?
This one was. This was
Okay.
The 3 count question of the week.
Oh, there it is. Well, I think it's got to be Steve Austin 3:16. It's got to be.
It's got to be, he says.
I'm sorry if that upsets you.
Oh, I'm not upset.
Right.
I'm also not upset. I'm in full agreement with Mark. That is the answer. Launched a whole era, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm within that era, but I for me, I don't know. Like, I was a DX guy back in the day, and I feel like it was such a big thing in like our age group that if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
What are the 2 words?
I don't know if you're old enough to hear that, Mark.
Oh, I can mute myself.
Suck it.
I mean, for me, that kind of goes to what Tim was saying. I viewed that as more of a catchphrase than just the straight quote.
Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, it's interpretation.
I mean, I still love it. I'm not going to say that's wrong. That's just my justification for not picking that one.
There's a lot of other really good quotes, like Vince McMahon didn't screw Bret Hart. Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart.
Yeah, no, that's the best one.
Yeah, that's a good
Bret
one.
screwed Bret.
There's so many. My answer back.
There's so many snippets in that entire interview where it's like, time-honored tradition. In the interest of fairness was another like Vinceism.
How come that's not on our opening entrance like theme, the 3 count open, Jim? Is there a reason that's never made it into one of the edits?
I just didn't cross my mind. I mean, I did ask the group if there was any promos or segments that wanted to make it to the intro to let me know. I don't remember that being suggested either.
I also enjoyed Paul Heyman's "I'm the one behind the one" in 21 and 1.
That's
but
a good one-liner.
he did that pretty often as well. It kind of lost like how cool it was the first time you heard it.
Paul Heyman's also other one from ECW One Night Stand. I think it was 2006. Edge, I've got 3 words for you. Matt freaking Hardy.
There's a couple here on the Facebook page. Somebody said, "See, I just kicked Stan."
That's a
By,
really good one.
that clip actually popped up on my YouTube randomly the other day.
Stan, Blood and Guts participant Sean Spears.
There you go. Jason did put "It's me, Austin. It's me all along." There's one here: "For those that believe, no explanation is necessary. For those that don't, no explanation will do." I don't
The
even-
Riddler.
Santa Claus, I think.
Santa Claus.
What was that quote, Jim? I'm curious as hell who that was.
It was, "For those that believe, no explanation is necessary. For those that don't, no explanation will do." Let's see if I Google search that. If it,
It's a Franz Werfel quote.
oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see.
Did he wrestle under a mask?
Yes.
Somebody put, "What does everybody want?"
That's good.
Chicken.
We have a, "Well, let me tell you something, brother."
Yeah, I thought of that one too.
Austin
That's good.
316 says, "I just whooped your ass."
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
That's a good one.
That's a good
one.
Kind of sad that nobody offered any, and maybe it's just the state of professional wrestling that nobody offered a women's quote.
Like who?
Right,
I mean, it's just, I guess, where the business was in the time that quotes were being made, like the Attitude Era. They just weren't allowed to talk, I suppose. But there's just nothing catchy that a woman's ever said on wrestling that's like, oh, that's...
Well, I kind of remember China saying that Eddie broke her heart.
China.
I mean, Charlotte, like, there's the one that Charlotte has recently said.
Correct.
Also, there's "Nobody's ready for Asuka," which is like a catchphrase, but
Bianca's "You don't even go here." Which
I mean,
which is not, which is Nia's "You don't even go here."
Yeah.
Like, but I'm surprised none of us also said anything about like the CM Punk pipe bomb.
Hi, Colt Cabana.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say it.
There's just not like a one quote from that whole spiel that like stands out to me as like a snippet.
There is. I want to get it.
Isn't
right.
it? Was that the promo where he said the idiot son-in-law? Was that during the pipe bomb, or was that a different promo?
Yeah, it is.
Because,
It's the pipe bomb.
Yeah, because I mean, like, and maybe that's part of the problem too. Is I feel like by that point, like,
Here
I don't
it
know,
is.
like, Punk delivered so many, like.
Here's the pipe. Here's the line in the pipe bomb. "I'm leaving with the WWE Championship on July 17th, and hell, who knows? Maybe I'll go defend it in New Japan Pro Wrestling, or maybe I'll go back to Ring of Honor." Punk waves to the camera. "Hey, Colt Cabana, how you doing? The reason I'm leaving is because you people because after I'm gone, you're still gonna pour money into this company. I'm just a spoke on the wheel. The wheel's gonna keep turning, and I understand that. And Vince McMahon's gonna make money despite himself. He's a millionaire who should be a billionaire. You know why he's not a billionaire? Because he surrounds himself with gland-handling, nonsensical yes men like John Laurinaitis." And here's the quote. "And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon is dead. But the fact is, it's going to get taken over by his idiotic daughter and his doofus son-in-law and the rest of his stupid family."
Yeah, like that quote there is a pretty solid one.
He also had one about Kevin Nash that was really great. Like when Kevin Nash debuted, he was like, "When I saw you came back, I texted my sister. I was like, OMG, Kevin Nash? LOL, I thought he was dead."
Devin says my client Brock Lesnar. Zach says the Nikki Bella line to Brie about dying in the womb. Or AJ's promo on the Bellas, which you hear part of that in the
I mean, I like that one, except then the Bellas were honking the whole time. Say that to our faces as she's like literally talking.
Oh my god, yeah, like because I was going back this week through like
honking like wild geese.
But if you go back and watch that promo, Matt's not far off on that.
It was honking.
Because yeah, they're just like screaming and it's just like, wow, shut up.
Don't make us come up there.
Come say it to our faces. Like they just screamed that like 14 times. It's like
he was the worst.
Yeah, no, she wasn't. Stop that.
There's another good Bret Hart one too.
What's that?
Frustrated. Frustrated
Oh,
isn't the
yeah.
goddamn word for it. This is bullshit.
I mean, I did love that one at the time, but like to me,
was
I don't think it stands up all time. Like as like the.
I remember that Bret promo over almost any other Bret promo.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Same thing with Vader
Pretty good.
calling himself a piece of shit, a big fat piece of shit. When
So
Kane,
all we had to do was
when
swear
Kane
around a
beats
young,
him.
impressionable Tim.
That's all you had to do.
That's all you had to do, and you're burned in
I'm
his
a
memory
piece of
forever.
shit. A big fat piece of shit.
HBK talking about losing his smile always made me laugh as well.
JR telling Sid we're live, pal. That's a pretty good one.
Solid quote.
All your questions will be answered tonight.
Is the Steiner math one a solid quote? I don't know.
Oh God, that whole Steiner math will always go down as that may be one of like the top 5 greatest wrestling promos of all time.
Ever.
So
good. This is my yard now.
Yeah.
That's good. That
It's
is
probably
good
a real
one.
solid recent one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach says pretty sure Becky probably had some home runs during her big run. Can't remember any specifically. And I think maybe that's the problem, at least in some cases in the last couple of years, is like I don't know that there's been a lot of stuff that's like home run, all-time memorable so that they stick out. Maybe it's just there's too much.
I think that the WWE just overdoes it, and then it becomes more of a catchphrase rather than a quote. Like Becky, I know, said "when the man comes around" a lot. I think you say that once and let it go, and that's kind of cool. A little Johnny Cash feel
And
to it,
something
maybe.
like talking about how she's bopping the heads off these jamokes or something. Like,
yeah,
she was always saying something about that. I'm messing the verbiage up, but like something about hitting people's heads off and stuff.
I would like to formally change my answer.
Go for it.
Just when they think they've got the answers, I change the questions.
That's a great one.
It's a good one.
You don't throw rocks at a man who's got a machine gun.
Oh my God. Like, I hated the end of that biography because the last thing you saw in that biography is Hogan doing that line. And of course he has to throw in brother at the end. It's like, I fucking hate you, man. Like, just stop being a douchebag for 5 seconds. Like, just say the line. You don't have to throw the brother in. You fucking
Yes,
asshole.
he does.
I mean, he does. I
Hogan
get
must
it.
pose.
That's true.
Hogan must hose. Yep.
Here's one.
A little bit of the bubbly.
I mean, Jericho's "You Just Made the List" was a fun time in wrestling. I will
You
say.
just made the list.
And again, I mean, that does fall a little bit more.
Why is my name on this list?
Oh my God.
Better quote.
That one's actually probably better than you just
quote.
made the list, because like, and yeah, maybe I didn't think of it in the right way. Like my mind went to catchphrases because, like, it's like rest in peace, I'm the game, whatever. They're more catchphrasy as opposed to, yeah, the why is my name on the list is probably the better quote out of all of that, because it's the exclamation point.
And
Yeah.
then the next question he had is, why is my name second on this list when looking at the WrestleMania card?
That is true. And then he also said, "Why is my name on this list?" And it's his COVID results. But that's a whole separate issue in and of itself. Any others before we continue?
No.
What a maneuver.
I mean, that is classic. All right,
What a
so this is
maneuver.
something, and I think the guys from Take 3 Wrestling Podcast like kind of touched on this last week on their episode, and it just kind of like got me thinking, because obviously right now everything that happens in wrestling, be it WWE, NXT, AEW, Impact, if you watch it, whatever you watch, there's a real-time dialogue that's carried out every week on social media, on Twitter, with wrestling fans. We didn't have that in what is the most recognized, and I think the belief that the Attitude Era was the greatest period of time in wrestling. I mean, it was definitely the biggest, the most popular, but like what if social media existed during the Attitude Era? Like, would we look back on everything that happened in the same way? Because like we remember the awesome moments, like the beer truck and all the times Austin's fucking with McMahon, and the great rivalries and the back and forth between Austin and The Rock and this and that. But like, because there's a separation of time, we forget about some of the worst things that came out of the Attitude Era, and the fact that like that if we're talking wrestling, there's a lot of times that a lot of the matches on Raw or SmackDown were 2-minute matches, and like the wrestling wasn't necessarily great. Like the wrestling seemed to be the afterthought during the Attitude Era. So would and I don't know, maybe there's things about the current product or the product from 5-10 years ago that we can look back differently because we remember the bright spots, as opposed to the sometimes overanalyzation of everything. I mean, we maybe overanalyze Blood and Guts, for the first hour. But do you think that if social media existed and there was a real-time reaction, would we have remembered and thought of the Attitude Era differently?
100%. Absolutely 110%. Social media has allowed us, and I'm talking Twitter, Facebooks, whatever the new one Donald Trump's coming up with, YouTube,
Parler,
all of these things. Parler, sure, people are talking about wrestling on Parler. I'm sure it's huge over there. Allows us to repeatedly see the spot that we don't like. If we don't have social media, we see specifically yesterday Chris Jericho fall off the Blood and Guts cell into a spot, and we all go, "Oh, I kind of feel like that exposed some cardboard." But then that's it. Like, they don't have to show us over and over. Like, AEW controls that, and we only see it because we can't go to YouTube. We can't jump on Twitter and watch it numerous times, quote retweeting the video of how bad it is. We would have done that for the entire Attitude. Everything about the Attitude Era would just be picked apart on both sides, WWE and WCW. It would ruin the NWO. As soon as NWO started getting too big, that's all we would bitch about. Oh, another guy in the NWO. It would just ruin it. Everything would be destroyed, good and bad. No, we just want to bitch. That's all we would do. It would have absolutely destroyed the Attitude Era. Much like, and I'm not saying destroy, yeah, fuck it. Much like what we have today.
See, I don't know if I blame social media on wrestling today as I do just like the internet in general. because with the internet came the before the dirt sheets were these wrestling newsletters that people paid for to get. Then the internet happens and it's all online. So we're hearing about finishes and people's contracts expiring, and we're hearing about like what happened backstage and who was backstage and all this and that. And it's like, we got a whole bunch of information. And once you have information, the one thing you want is more information. So when you have it at your fingertips, then you want it like injected into your veins. And so I think if you separate social media and like the internet wrestling community or the dirt sheets, I think like I think a lot of the WCW stuff they were doing catches fire more. Like the Dennis Rodman stuff, the Karl Malone stuff. I mean, people talk about the Jay Leno stuff and how that wasn't like super great, but Jay Leno was like one of the biggest things on television at the time. And you're going to say Jay Leno's doing a wrestling thing and more people hear about it? Like, that's pretty cool. Like, I wonder if it'd be any different when David Arquette wins the WCW championship. Like, what happens then? But then also in the same vein, when Tyson shows up, that's already a big deal. That might be if social media was around, that might be the single most important moment in the history of wrestling. If social
You're
media
talking about
exists.
Tyson in AEW just recently.
No, we're talking about Attitude Era.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Calendars, pal.
Got it.
You know, like because I was kind of like writing down a list of things like good and bad from the Attitude Era, and like, you know, Austin messing with McMahon, the numerous things like the Bang 316 gun when McMahon pissed himself, the Corvette, like paging Dr. Austin, like all of those segments, like that was TV gold. Like the milk truck, the beer truck. I had Tyson versus Austin written down.
Is that TV gold though, or is that a younger Jim that was entertained by that style of comedy compared to a Jim today? And we've never seen that. A gun to a guy's head in the middle of a ring in this climate is probably something you would angrily tweet about. And there, I'm sure, are adults at that time that would be like, yo, this probably isn't good, and would angrily tweet about that. It was great because we were young and enjoyed Jackass.
Well, that's true. But like, I mean, and you know, maybe this is me looking back with 36-year-old 2021 vision, but like, you know, Trish barking like a dog, Mae Young topless birthing a hand, being power bombed through a table, Al Snow, the big boss man, and Pepper, that probably doesn't even fly too well today. Choppy pee pee, beaver cleavage. Like these are things that are both not in good taste, but some of these just awful. Like this one, like you had Legends evening gown matches. Like I think Pat Patterson and Briscoe were probably in those. Mark Henry and Sammy. That, I mean, the transgender. Brawl for all.
Was that during Sex Addict Mark Henry?
Yes, that was during sex when he was chasing China, and I think she like pawned him off on Sammy or got him a date with Sammy. And even like some of the Ministry of Darkness stuff, like trying to embalm Austin, live sacrificing Stephanie McMahon on a cross.
Kidnapping Stephanie McMahon and then trying to force her to marry. Also, the marriage of Stephanie and Triple H. get
right
roofing Stephanie McMahon and taking her to a drive-in and then making her marry Triple H.
I do.
I do. Oh yeah. Oh yes, I do.
Yeah, like, so, and this is where it's like, so we remember these things and we chuckle about them now because again, we were 16 years old and we love Jackass and all of that. Whereas now was the Attitude Era really the best TV, or was the highest points of the show just the best and the highest?
It's tough to say because it's like,
yeah,
it's the problem with looking at something nowadays back then.
Mhm.
Like for example, what's the Archie Bunker show? Is that All in the Family?
All in the Family.
Would never happen now.
Oh boy.
And yet that's one of the biggest sitcoms in the history of television.
The Honeymooners.
Never happened.
To the moon.
Domestic violence.
Right.
Like never.
A canned laugh track
But you
about
can't,
domestic violence, right?
Right. It's like
straight to the moon, Alice.
I already told you twice.
Al right in the kisser.
Right.
But so it's tough, and I think part of the issue is that, and this is gonna sound like us old guys standing on our lawn, but like,
damn kids,
the older we get, there's gonna be fewer and fewer of us who remember being there for some of these moments, and the fans in general who are discovering it for the first time aren't going to see it in the lens we first saw it.
It's like
they're going to see it now.
Polar Express with the bell,
yeah, it's like, so are we wrong for thinking that like it was really funny that Val Venus got his wiener chopped off, or almost got his wiener chopped off by Yamaguchi-san?
I mean, in hindsight, he probably should have just gotten his wiener cut off.
Right. But also, like, we think that was entertaining because we were there. But them, or anyone that, like, a newer fan who discovers that on Peacock,
right?
What's this?
That's lowbrow comedy.
I mean, let's just look at the gimmicks in WWF during the Attitude Era. There was a pimp. There was a porn star. There was a police officer who beat his prisoners.
Yeah.
There was a censorship group.
Oh God.
Like,
they had the right to censor though.
There was here's another angle. Oh, here's another thing that would have been hilarious if there was a social media. When the Big Show got drugged by his dad's casket through through a funeral, or not a funeral home, a cemetery.
That still holds up.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually hilarious.
The people at
Where my daddy's dead.
I want to change my answer for best quote.
The Big Show's sympathy card, or Big Boss Man's sympathy card to the Big Show.
Yeah, but who got the last laugh there?
With a heart that is sorrow and tears that are soaked, I'm sad to hear your dad finally croaked.
Let's see if I can.
How awful.
Like, we're tweeting about that then today. Like, if we had Twitter, then we'd be like, this is so stupid.
Yo,
giant megaphone on the top of the
yeah.
police car.
Would you like to go out with a man like me? You don't suck a no, I'm wrong. No, you don't. Hell no. Come on.
That was the long-haired Big Show too.
Yes.
Right?
man,
Didn't that lead to the Big Boss Man getting hung from a Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, at Mania Philadelphia.
I'm gonna make it a drag queen right here, right now.
I don't
like,
know if it
it's in
directly
a
led
real
to
cemetery. Like, this isn't a gimmick cemetery. This isn't like cemetery.
working cemetery.
This is a working cemetery.
So they actually talk about this on one of the Pritchard shows.
Oh yeah, wasn't there like a real funeral?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Because they did it during the day.
Oh, there it is, Big Show ride.
It's so it's hilarious, but like also
Oh man, he's down.
So out. It's like,
and also,
him,
he was wearing leather pants to his dad's funeral.
Yeah,
like
1989
we're also
was
tweeting
a hell
about
of a
that.
time.
Was.
But like that angle led to Big Show winning the WWF title at Survivor Series 99, I think. Cause like that was like September 99-ish. I'm trying to think. But shortly after this, he gets put into the triple threat match at Survivor Series with Triple H and The Rock and wins the WWE title. Craziness.
Yeah. It
he did it for his dad.
He did.
He did it for The Rock. He did it for the people.
But yeah, like it just there's
I mean, that's another thing too. Stone Cold Steve Austin getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
Hit by a vehicle.
Vince McMahon died.
That was
his
even-
limo blew
he
up.
got blown up.
And was social media around then?
I don't think so.
When did Benoit die? Because that was like a week before Benoit died.
Benoit died in 07.
We might have been able to chat about it on like AIM, but I don't think we were tweeting.
Facebook was absolutely a thing in 07.
Yeah, but I think at that
in
point,
07? Oh, yeah, for sure.
Facebook was still just a college social network. I don't think it was everybody.
I remember having to wait until Kutztown got added.
Yeah.
To like the Facebook database, and I had to sign up at my @kutztown.edu.
That was like 2003, 2004.
That was before
probably
everybody's
03 or
mother
04,
was
yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah, because I got my Facebook in 04 from college.
Yeah, Kutztown was late to the game. Like I don't think I had it until,
It was
or maybe
probably
I was
03
just
or
late to the
04.
game. I didn't have it until
When
later.
you graduated in 03. You were so probably 04, 05 till Kutztown got added.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't even get on the. I feel like I didn't even get on there till like 06. It was like my last semester, and I was like, never. But yeah, it's
I just want to get off Facebook so bad.
So bad.
Except for the 3 Count Thursday page, but
Which we might go to YouTube. I don't.
but it's just it's it just made it, when they talked about it on Take 3, it just kind of made me think like how would things, if they would be viewed any differently than they are now if everything was analyzed the way it is in today.
I don't think the Attitude Era is what it is if we had it then, really. I mean, part of the allure of the Attitude Era was like choosing a side. You watched Raw and then you flipped over to Nitro, or you watched Nitro and you flipped over to Raw. If you have a social media, you can watch Raw, and social media will tell you when you should flip. You won't have that. You don't have that like excitement of going back and forth and like getting stuck in a Nitro match and then being like, shit, that's right, and having to go back to USA. You just
And
don't get
hoping
that.
And hoping they replay what you
actually might have missed, right? Or vice versa if you're a Nitro guy.
Yeah. That's a good point too. Any other
Thanks,
thoughts?
Zuckerberg.
What a dick.
Ain't trying to get us
like-
blocked, Jim. Come on.
I ain't scared. The other thing, like kind of going in this, in this Wayback Machine or thinking about, because like obviously, today and pandemic aside, did Boss Man wrestle the night after he got hung? Yes, right.
Real quick, I want to actually properly thank this Take 3 show because you really hinted about it, but we absolutely stole their topic. It sounds like we 100% stole it. And you were like, I think they might have talked about it last week. I don't know. Earnestly speaking, I'm not sure what happened.
He
We stole
steals
it.
our topics too. So it's
He admits when he steals it, though. So I just wanted to thank him. We stole it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Let
us know what we're going to do next week.
Well, they're recording shortly, and
Good.
then I'll listen to it, and then I'll get our topics for next week.
So good.
I saw somebody, and I think it was because of the throwback SmackDown or whatever they're calling it for tomorrow night, which means just the old logo on the screen in the Thunderdome, I assume. I don't think there's going to be anything necessarily like they'll probably do like the old intro.
If there's not a giant fist,
there's not going to be, Tim.
There better be.
Tim, there's not going to be.
I'll be okay without the fist. I want the multiple circles.
The Ovaltrons?
The ovals will be fine. That's all I want.
I want a giant fist, man.
Jim, I love you're trying to like say it won't and 22-minute this so it happens.
No, they're not going to disassemble the Thunderdome and the stage for one night of SmackDown.
They absolutely
to put it back up. They should.
First of all, this isn't the show that needs the gimmick either.
No,
by the way,
it's weird that like all of a sudden it's like out of nowhere.
Fox wants the gimmick.
All right.
Well, that's true, but like
this is Fox. This isn't US.
They had 2 banger title matches last week. They don't need the gimmick. I get Fox wants it.
I just don't see them disassembling the Thunderdome for like I fully expect when I tune in 8:00 tomorrow night on Fox for there just to be the WWE version of our new logo up on the screen in the Thunderdome.
Which is the real reason they're doing it.
It is. We have never seen that logo return until us. So you're welcome, WWE Universe. We did this.
Jim, you make it sound like they'd have to take the entire Thunderdome apart to slide a fist where the screen goes. Like I feel like there's probably a bolt and a nut they could just unloosen and like just.
You think there's like
unloosen would be Titan?
Fuck you.
You think there's like a button that they just press it and it's like,
yes,
just like dissolves?
No, I just feel like you would just have to like unscrew a few things and just
like
slide the fisty fist,
like the clawy things above the screen.
I don't give a shit. Sure,
but like
the last
they weren't there.
He's
I
driving it.
mean, I get like the virtual crowd wasn't there before.
Right, but like the throwback Raws, you had the big RAW for a little bit. They had the really old stage once, and then it was just kind of parts of the old staging. I thought. I don't fucking know.
So maybe they'll dig out a couple of the oval, like just the oval stage piece.
Put up an ICO Pro flag. It's gonna be fine.
I don't expect to get fisted tomorrow night. Okay, I don't.
Well, you need to prepare yourself for a giant fist.
You know what percentage chance there is that we're going to get fisted tomorrow night?
WarGames.
Point.
WarGames! 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 WarGames!
But like, is there like little things that are missing, even pandemic aside, from wrestling? Because like even before the pandemic, there wasn't really like entrance videos anymore besides like just names on the Tron or custom sets, anything like that. Is there any like little things from 10 years ago, 15 years ago that you miss today?
Bra and panty matches.
The Big Show's hair.
He probably misses that too, if we're being honest.
Whatever happened to him? I thought he was like an active competitor on the other show.
Sure.
Oh,
you mean he hasn't competed on Dark Evolution or
I
Dark
think he talks
Elevation?
on one of them, doesn't
He talks on Dark Elevation.
What about Dark? Can he wrestle on Dark?
Why would he wrestle on Dark? Why would you send out the Jolly Green
Same
Giant?
reason you have John Moxley wrestle Andrew Palace on Dark.
Jan.
You love him, Jim. Fuck you.
I hate it so much.
I miss merch being a lot simpler back in the day.
Merchandising.
Like I don't know why we branched into pendants and socks and lunch bags and like there's so much. I feel like it's such a waste of money to keep pumping this out when you could like rebrand, refocus, and make the stuff that you're giving us a lot cooler. And I think that they did that 10, 15 years ago because they didn't have so much stuff that they were trying to push all the time. So the shirts that we got were like, we weren't getting a shirt every 2 weeks with "you can't see me" because of something that happened like on an episode of Raw randomly. Like they actually put thought and effort into the designs of the shirts.
Did they ever sell like the Owen 316 shirt, or was that just something Owen wore?
I think it was just something Owen wore.
Right, because like I feel like we may have gotten "You Can't See Me," but I don't think it would have been purchasable back in the day. Like, you know, I mean, I feel like it would have been along those lines where it's like, you know, wrestler is mocking his opponent, but like we don't need to buy it. But like the minute he wears that, and
Like I understand why they're doing it now. Like they have to make their money. So if people are buying it, then you're gonna make it, and that is just what it is. But I just wish we could go back to when we were like in high school and we'd go to a wrestling show and they had the merch stand there. It wasn't like overwhelming. There was like 8 shirts, the foam Austin finger, the foam DX thing, and like a Sable DVD. And that was it. So like you had a choice of 10 things. And if you didn't want those 10 things, then you went on your way. Now there's, you know, dozens and dozens of product.
Yeah.
And show that it's like, well, what do I even like? I want to get something from the show. What do I even get at this point?
I think that's geared for like the 10, 11, year olds because they just want it all and dad'll just buy it to shut them the fuck up.
Yeah, I'll
I
never
want the
forget.
shirt independent and the this and the koozie and the fucking that and the
I
foam
still
and the
remember,
fucking
like,
unicorn.
Like one of the Raw shows that we went to at Hershey, and we're just standing there and just kind of looking at all the merch, and I'm looking at all the things I'm not buying because, like, for starters, they only have like 2X shirts at the live shows, and I just see a dad with just so much cash in his wallet, and he just looks defeated because like he knows you can get all of this shit on shop.wwe.com for so much cheaper, and he's like he just because the kid can't get just the Cena t-shirt, it's the hat, it's the wristbands, it's the spinner belt, it's the pendant, and he's just like I thought he was just gonna hand his wallet to the lady.
Can I work for you guys?
Like,
as crazy as like that Raw moment was, Jim, Mark, you can probably back me up on this. The Mania crowd is insane. They don't give any shits. Like I got like the Mania what the fuck is it called? Like the big program. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it came with like some free postery
how much
size
that run you?
things.
Like $50?
That was $25 for that.
Book.
But like for a picture book, right? But we're standing next to people, and like the guy's like $350, $222, and the guys are just like, "Bop, you take card. Here's my fucking card. Swipe it." And they're not buying belts. They're just buying like
they
shirts.
already bought those at the superstore during the week.
Correct. They're buying shirts for the family to wear to WrestleMania. Already at WrestleMania, already wearing wrestling shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, they just. I mean, it's Mania, so you're gonna whatever.
Right, and there's stuff there that is for Mania.
Correct.
That you don't know if it's gonna make it to the shop. Which also, I don't know if you've been on the WWE shop. I hate the new website.
I hate it.
Awful.
It's horrible. Oh, so bad.
Its flight gets delayed.
Speaking
That's
of
a good one, Matt. I definitely agree. Like it's because like you know they come out with socks for half the roster. And so why? These are just going to end up on clearance.
The Matt Riddle socks.
Right. The guy who doesn't wear footwear. Tim, go ahead.
So mine is a side jaunt from the merchandise stuff, but mine deals specifically with the Komen for a Cure stuff. I miss the all pink and black and pink alternates of the big wrestling shirts that were popular at the time.
Yes.
I bought the Del Rio shirt. I bought the CM Punk shirt. I bought the Randy Orton shirt.
Shut up and take
I bought there was who else did I buy?
I think I have a Ziggler shirt that's
I'll
pink.
say,
I
Ryan,
bought the
you had
Miz-
the pink Ziggler
Yeah.
one, right?
the Miz shirt.
Yeah.
But just like, why get away from like alternates of like
Because
main?
after like 2 years of those, when people just waited for them to end up on clearance.
That's part of it.
But then they
Coleman's
sold.
also like a shit charity too, I think.
Coleman does not necessarily. You could probably donate to a better breast cancer.
Let's say it that way.
Most
Yes.
most big charities like that
Sure.
are kind of shit. Like Wounded Warrior, like pennies on the dollar actually end up helping. And it, like, here's the thing, like all of those big charities probably started with really good intentions, but once you hit a certain point, then all you're doing is paying the people to run the foundation. So yes, there are much better breast cancer and like Wounded Soldier and any of like the big, the big charities. There is a lot of times better ones on a smaller scale to be able to. But yeah, I had bought a couple of those. I know for a fact I did as well. And like maybe like, and I think that became the problem, is that like people just waited till they got marked down. And then I don't know how that worked with like the money that ended up getting donated, if it was only while they were full price. I don't know. So like now they just do like one for breast cancer, they do one for like the Connor's cure thing. They just don't do like superstar individual ones. But yeah, I agree.
But it's like it's that stuff that's like that was cool for me. That's like a little thing that like is gone.
Yeah.
I also miss like the ringside, or well, not so they do it sometimes, but the picture-in-picture interviews. Like
Yes.
during entrance, having the
I love
person
those, like before the Royal Rumble. I think they may have done them last year. I don't think they did them this year in like the COVID Rumble, but like when they would do the montage of like, I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble. Like it was just half the entrance did like this canned promo, but I always loved them.
Yeah, they're so good. But it's like modern sensibilities went out, and is what it is. God,
Yeah,
there is a lot of redness.
There's a lot of red in your hair.
How much is this getting?
Mark, Ryan, any things that you miss?
I miss no, probably not. I think we've touched on it. I mean, obviously I think the obvious one would be like separate stagings, but I'm not sure of any company that's doing that. AEW doesn't. WWE has it in
like
years.
a beach chair for like whatever their fighter.
Sure, and like a giant poker chip for the other one. But I think the closest we got was NXT Halloween Havoc, and that wasn't even like a pay-per-view. So
and they did the In Your House.
The In Your House one was pretty solid.
They did that.
Sure.
But that I feel like I guess not. I think they did build a new version of the old set. But like I would like to see maybe if you have like a big 4 set. I mean, well, big 3, because like WrestleMania is going to be in and of itself. But like if you have like, and Rumble's kind of its own beast now because they do them at baseball stadiums. So that's, I mean, it's scaled down, but it looks neat and it looks different because it's for the Rumble. But like if you had like a SummerSlam and a Survivor Series set, and then the other pay-per-views are just like the mashup of Raw and SmackDown, I don't think I would have an issue there. Like, I mean, I get it. The separate stages were cool, but the cost of that is astronomical. Mark, is there anything you miss?
Well, I missed when WCW used to run the WarGames, but they brought that back in NXT.
WarGames! 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 WarGames!
I'm sorry, Tim.
Oh, he's gone. Tim's gone.
Poor Tim. He's had enough. I missed
Mark,
the,
if you could book your own War Games match, why would it be Bobby?
War Games! War Games! War Games!
Why would it be Bobby Lashley versus Kyle O'Reilly?
Well, I would probably. If she's still alive, I'd like to have China thrown in that mix too.
China!
I'm not turning my camera back on until
Oh, there he
you
is.
all effing stop this nonsense.
It's the voice of God.
Yes. Hello, it is me, God. Please, for the love of me, stop doing this.
I don't think
Didn't Shane McMahon have a match against God once at a pay-per-view?
Here we go. Money talk.
I feel like Tim's being a little rude.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, well, you're a sausage guy.
I'm a sausage guy. You can find that right on the old Peacock.
Weird. I'm like, I have to find all of these.
Right on the cock.
I
Where?
think there's a
Right on the
what percent chance do we have of Tim coming back on camera?
0.0.
All right, I'm done.
We could probably get Monk to start talking about Jericho again.
You just made the list!
Oh, I was hoping for the Wait, maybe if we all do the hand thing.
They're doing the sign!
Why am I coming?
Love that one.
Oh wow.
What the hell are we even talking about?
Things we missed. I miss
things we
moments
missed.
like this. No, just
I miss the Brother Love show when they actually had the big sets. Brother Love show and the Snake Pit,
funeral parlor.
Okay.
the Body Shop, funeral parlor.
I mean, we kind of have. I mean, Alexa's Playground is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Firefly Fun,
Yeah, that's true.
kind of like that. But yeah, it's not. There's not a like interview. There's not like an interview set that handles that.
Ding dong, hello.
True.
Hello.
Well, because
Who's
like I
that?
mean, you have Ms. TV and you have the KO show, but it like those are just out in the ring with like, you know, random props. Like I
Well,
miss
you-
actually having a set piece to those.
Yeah,
like,
I like that the Playhouse, you know, with Bray and yeah. But I miss Hogan getting the beat down on the Brother Love show every few months.
For me, like it sounds so like little and but like when I started thinking this, the entrance videos, like I remember like when you would have, you know, like Hollywood Rock, like I remember like, you know, the helicopter flying over LA and like, you know, DX when you had the screen effects, and now
Yeah,
you
they were good.
literally like Riddle's name on the Tron, and it's just one of those little production things that we just don't have anymore.
You get the birds though when he kicks his sandals off.
Be
Be thankful for that, Jim.
That's true. We do get those.
You get the birds.
I also miss just the random vignette packages they would used to do, like the Bret Hart "You Start the Fire" video,
Oh, yeah.
the Luger "You Are My Hero," like even Sean's "Tell Me a Lie." Like those videos still, like I have goosebumps thinking about.
I just had I have that Lex Luger song like in my on my phone.
It's so good.
Dude, that song is so freaking good. But I had just I put old pay-per-views and now if you start, you know, like SummerSlam season 4 episode 1 and it goes to season 5, The 93 SummerSlam came up with the Summer of Lex intro.
Lex Express, baby.
The Lex Express pulling up at the arena, and yeah, it like that those vignettes were badass. And I heard Making Some Noise by Tom Petty, which was used in a Bret Hart vignette. And I think, Ryan, that was one we have a watch along in the can that I have to wait till that episode of Superstars drops on the cock
Oh
to
yeah.
be able to release it. But when we saw it on that watch along, they didn't retain the rights to the Tom Petty song, so it's just like rock song number 8 is on that
theme?
video. What's that?
Keith Lee's theme?
No, his is rock song number 7.
Got it.
They went back in the archives for that one.
I
miss Jim Johnson. Let's be honest. I miss those style entrance themes.
Hell yeah.
He was so good.
Yeah. That's definitely missed.
And did Cody get a new theme, or has he not used
it's
a Down Straight song for a while now? I've not.
It's a remix with Snoop Dogg.
Snoop.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I hate it. I want his old music back. But yeah, it's for me, entrance videos. I do miss those. Any others before we hit the news? All right, let's go to it. Why don't we to the news? As first reported by Fightful Select, Daniel Bryan's WWE contract has expired. It does not mean he is leaving WWE. He's been vocal about doing, quote, unconventional work with and for WWE, but his deal came to a close following a SmackDown match with Roman Reigns last Friday night. WWE is actively working on re-signing him. He has been moved to the alumni section of WWE.com. Zach says Tim misses the 2016 episodes before sound bites came into play.
That's the truth.
Not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
We were just a poor podcast then.
We were. We didn't have the free soundbite site. AEW set to run 2021 Double or Nothing pay-per-view from Daly's Place with 100% capacity. AEW president and CEO Tony Khan appeared on Busted Open Radio yesterday morning and revealed the pay-per-view scheduled for Sunday, May 30th to be held at Daly's Place with a full capacity crowd. It will also be a weekend event. There'll be a non-televised show Friday night, a fan fest on Saturday. Tickets for Double or Nothing should be announced soon. The outdoor amphitheater at Daly's Place holds around 5,500 people.
I can't wait to watch that in French.
You certainly do. After weeks of inactivity following,
are they doing anything COVID-wise with that, or do you have to be vaccinated? I know it's outdoors.
I think it's just full capacity from what I read online. I don't know if this was part of what Tony said, but they will encourage masking. But I think Florida has given up on masks as well. So
yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's one of those things where, if people observe to do it, then they'll do it. But I don't think anything, at least from what I read, I don't think anything is being enforced.
Okay, just wondering.
After weeks in inactivity following his WWE release, Andrade revealed earlier this week he's joining AAA, appearing a video package at the end of their latest show over the weekend. He announced he was with AAA, stated he has 2 goals: to wrestle AAA star Psycho Clown and win the Mega Championship. He then proceeded to challenge the Mega Champion, AEW and Impact World Champion Kenny Omega, to a match at Triple Mania 29 later this summer. No date or location has been announced for that event as of this time. It would be Andrade's first match ever in AAA. And then finally, the 2021 Extreme Rules pay-per-view reportedly scheduled for Sunday, July the 18th, according to PW Insider. Extreme Rules will, as of now, take place from the WWE Thunderdome at the Yuengling Center in Tampa. With their residency at the Yuengling Center expiring in early August, Extreme Rules could be the final pay-per-view to be held in that venue. They have not announced a date for SummerSlam. That show is usually in late August, and from what we reported last week, is set to take place somewhere with fans and with a lot of other things opening up. That could be the final, potentially the final WWE pay-per-view from the Thunderdome period. We will obviously keep a watch on that as well. But to the Daniel Bryan, do you think he goes anywhere else? Do you think if he does, do you think he ends up back in WWE? Tim, you were shaking your head yes. What do you think is next for Daniel Bryan?
I think Daniel Bryan goes out. He sows his wild oats. He has like a dream match here, a dream match there. He does like he even goes and does like a small stint at AEW, like a 3-month deal. Like gets
the old Zack Ryder special.
Yeah, like be an independent, go out, be everywhere, wrestle everybody you want to wrestle, get your dream matches out of the way, and then come home and retire because that's what you're gonna do. Like,
yeah, I definitely think he retires with WWE.
Yeah, I think so too.
To use like the hot term, like the forbidden door, it seems like it's pretty much open everywhere but the WWE. They are the contract folks. So like Tim said, go ahead, bop around, do what you want at a few spots. Might as well hit them all. Fuck it, go big. And then go home. And I think people are expecting him to show up on NXT, but I don't know. Also, the Fightful, isn't that kind of like the WWE equivalent of
like Barstool?
Not really Barstool.
WWE,
like equivalent of like Meltzer.
Observer?
Yeah, like Meltzer Observer is definitely slanty AEW. I think isn't that Sap's thing? That's kind of slants a little bit more to the WWE.
Yeah.
Would this just be a work through their site and he shows up, in NXT and he's locked up already for a few more years with the E?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, I think
that wouldn't surprise me either.
No, and here's the thing, like, not to be, because journalism, if you are a good journalist, you deserve to be paid. And like, I don't have any issues with like articles behind a paywall, depending where you work for. But like, I find it's kind of the Observer like business, the business model is like, you get some stuff for free. This is the stuff you have to pay for. This is the big stuff over here. And that's what Fightful Select is. That's the big stuff you got to pay for. So is that stuff gimmicked? Maybe. I guess we'll find out soon. Matt, I saw you shaking your head. No, you think this is just Daniel's still WWE?
Yeah, I think he does more of like a behind the scenes creative type role. That's where I see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he, did the dream match tour, but I think, with family and everything, I feel like he's more in line to just get his pay, still be involved in the business he loves, but get to be home with his family more frequently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
he's
surprised.
done wrestling.
Done, period?
Not done forever, but I think he probably takes some time. I mean, he's got 2 young kids, so
smoking wife.
I mean,
clearly the better of the 2.
I mean, that's not true.
Like if he was married to Nikki, he'd probably stay on the road.
I would too.
I wouldn't blame him. I would go home to that.
Oh, so wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if I think the pandemic makes it more difficult. Like if there was no pandemic, like I could see him working out a similar deal to when we had the first Jericho deal where he showed up in New Japan. Like I feel like Daniel Bryan could work something. I don't think we see him in AEW. And unfortunately right now, like AEW's tied to Impact, AEW's tied to New Japan a bit. So like, because I don't think they have anything with ROH. So like maybe Daniel Bryan does something with ROH or something like that, and then it comes back to W. But I think it's going to be more of I think he's going to transition to part-time. I think we're not going to see him for a little while. I think him being moved to the alumni section is a gimmick thing. I don't think he's truly gone. I think I think we'll see him go away for a little while and end up probably on Raw in disappointing fashion. Mark, any thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to go anywhere other than WWE. That'd actually be kind of nice, but if he went over to AEW, he'll just kind of, I don't know. They don't have a very good track record. It looks like with they've got the Big Show and you got Christian Cage, and they're kind of forgettable. So he's going to stay in WWE and retire.
All right.
And
Anybody
I'm
got
okay with
anything?
that.
Anybody got anything else before we close this thing out? All right, then let's close it up. Ryan, we'll start with you. Anything to plug, Ryan?
So good. I will take my time this week to steal anybody else's thunder that was about to put over Felicia Rose. Felicia Rose, a great friend of the show. We hung out with her at one of the Icon shows. A lot of people were able to come up and meet her. Going through some shit, we have a couple ways that you can support her. I know she's also selling on eBay the sign that really started everything for her, the old "face fuck me Finn" sign that got shown on TV is up for sale.
We're gonna see it behind Mark next week on the
Next
pod.
week. It'll replace the old woodchuck cider sign, but currently for bid up on eBay. I think it's got a little over 6 days left. So any way you could support her would be great. I think Matt said earlier that she popped open an OnlyFans site, which is different than Only Marks. It's an OnlyFans site. It's / Felicia Rose.
All right. Intern Mark, got anything to plug this week?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys haven't been down there to Roots to get some of that Hodecker celery, you are missing out. That Hodecker celery is the definition of delish. It's wonderful. And when you're picking up your celery, you can stop by the formerly Murray's Pies, now Countryside Bakery, they call themselves, because the strawberry whoopie pies will be coming in season real soon.
It is
According
almost
to
strawberry
Bourbon.
season. You're right.
Real soon. So get ready for that. It's going to be delicious.
All right.
But very exciting.
Tim, you got anything?
I do. And not the tool man across all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat if you care. 3 podcasts.
TikTok?
No TikTok. Thank you. No TikTok. I have TikTok, but I don't TikTok. Send me your TikTokies. I'll watch them. If you think they're funny, I'll think they're okay. If you enjoy what I say here, I have 2 other podcasts. One that I do every week with my best friend Marcus, Final Wrestling Place. This season is Graduation, where we talk about the rookie seasons or rookie years of some of WWE and wrestling in general's developmental talents. Last week we covered Eugene and Carlito, and we don't know who we're covering this week, so stay tuned. And after every AEW, WWE, and NXT pay-per-view, we do a podcast called Viewer's Choice, where we give a live reaction, or as close to live as possible on that. You can follow those at Final Place Pod and at VC on North South if you're interested. And if you want to go see live wrestling in a safe environment, go on to the Mahoning Drive-In for Real Rumble. It is Friday and Saturday, May 21st and 22nd at the Mahoning Drive-In. Get wrestling and get a double feature both nights. Night 1 is They Live and a mystery movie, and night 2 is the incredible documentary back-to-back showing of Beyond the Mat and Mr. Nanny. So it's going to be a good time, a fun time, and a great time. Hope to see you there.
Documentary Mr. Nanny.
Yeah, the documentary Mr. Nanny, of course.
Matt, what do you got this week?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's at 3CT, the letter A. Philly is in Philadelphia, the number 8. So 3CT affiliate. Make sure you're following the Instagram page at 3 Count Thursday, where we showcase a woman each week. Our Woman of the Week feature. So every like on their post counts as a vote. And if you're on Facebook, look up the page Icons of Wrestling coming on Monday. They're going to have some fun new guest announcements for their September 18th convention. You might see some familiar names, some familiar faces on those announcements. So just stay tuned there.
You can follow me at Big Jim Sports, but Just make sure you're following the show at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go to 3countthursday.com. Make sure you're subscribed to the show, all podcast platforms, YouTube. Make sure you check out our merchandise, our collar and elbow brand deal, our Patreon page. Support our friends. We got friends listed over there. Just help us out, help out friends of the show, and have a great week. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?